Welcome back, YouTube. Here we are, TCC number 24. 24th episode. What is it gonna be? No, for real. Y'all remember that phrase or that saying, it takes a village to raise a child? Let's apply that to the youth. It takes a village. Roll that intro. Yeah. TCC24. It takes a village, man. I know in our last episode, you can probably check it out up here or up here. I forget. Community, right? So let's kind of piggyback on that a little bit, but this is a completely different episode. So the village, think community, right? Now let's just get back to that village though. It takes a village. According to Wikipedia, it takes a village to raise a child is as follows. It's actually an African proverb that means an entire community of people. An entire community of people must interact with children for those children to grow in a safe and healthy environment. And according to Wikipedia, this became a popular saying in American culture several decades back. A long time ago. So that's why you hear it now, even though it says it's an African proverb. This is something that we've adopted here in America decades ago, right? So it takes a village. Now, one may hear that nowadays because, like I said, do you remember that term? Because it's like, it's been so many years since I've actually heard it. Because if you look out in the community, in these different villages, if you will, I don't think that anyone can say that the village is actually out there raising our youth or helping. Now, that's no knock to anyone. That's just a call to service. Like, okay, if you take an offense to it, then I'm talking to you then. So let's step up and do something different. Let's be that village that's going to raise and impact our youth. Now, this stumbled into my brain over the last couple of days in regards to whatever happened to it takes a village to raise a child or a youth. And so I did a little research and I stumbled upon this little clip. I want you guys to see this clip. Let me cue it up right quick. I'm still getting kind of, tech savvy, trying to figure everything out over here. But there was this guy. I read a couple of his books, or should I say audio listened to a couple of his books, and phenomenal speaker, phenomenal author, just a phenomenal guy from how I see, right? But I want you guys to just listen to this little excerpt of one of his keynote speeches or TED Talks or whatever the case may be. Just listen to him. His name is Simon Sinek. A great guy, like from what I see. All right. So let's see what I'm referring to. All right. Let's go. Bear with me though. Got to cue it up. Let me get that good old picture in that thing too. Oh, there I go. But no, for real. Here we go.
Our need to be amongst people who believe what we believe is essential. Our survival depends on it. We cannot survive by ourselves out in the wilderness. It is our communities that protect us and look after us and are the reason the human race succeeds.
Wow.
When you are surrounded by people who believe what you believe, something remarkable happens. Trust emerges.
Trust.
Make no mistake of it, trust is a feeling. It is a human experience. Simply doing everything you promise you're going to do does not mean people will trust you. It just means you're responsible.
Right.
We all have friends who are total screw-ups, and yet we still trust them.
Facts.
Trust is a feeling.
It's a feeling.
And it comes from that common set of values and beliefs. And
right.
when you are surrounded by people who trust you and you trust them, you You're more likely to take a risk. You're more likely to explore. You're more likely to innovate. You're more likely to leave the cave to go hunting saber-toothed tigers with the confidence that those in your community will look after your stuff and protect your children while you're gone.
Let's just stop it right there. You see that? It established trust, right? Amongst the individuals in the community. Now, when it comes to an adult, these are things that, like, okay, sometimes we can overlook it, but no, we're focusing on the youth. So just imagine the possibilities, of the things that our youth can accomplish if we within the community gave them more support. So you sit here, you're like, okay, well, how are you saying this? Why are you saying this? What does this have to do with anything with TCC? Well, remember, TCC stands for Troy Center Chronicles. Troy Center is an acronym standing for Truly Reviving Our Youth, a community-based organization here in Fresno, a nonprofit, if you will, right? So we want to do exactly what that phrase, it takes a village to raise our youth. We're doing that in our communities by installing trust in our youth so they know that they have a support system. They have somewhere they can go where they feel safe. They're getting the resources they need to get back and forth to school. There are some school districts that do not provide transportation to and from school. The Troy Center is doing our best to change that, right? We're doing our part to be involved in our community, in our village, to help raise these young men, these young women that we see daily, that all they need is someone to support them, someone to believe in them, someone to back them, and most importantly, someone to advocate for them, speak for them. It takes a village. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to replace the parent and we're going to pick up the slack where the parent, no, or the guardian. We're not saying that. We're going to be the support system, because guess what? Some of our youth, whether you believe it, understand it, see it or not, they don't have a parent at home, right? So that's where the Troy Center can step in and be that advocate, be that person who is listening to what our youth are going through, whether it's them telling us verbally or through their actions. The Troy Center, we're bilingual when it comes to that. We can read body language. We can read like what's going on in regards to your anger, your emotions, and when you're doing things of that nature. And obviously, if you're able to vocalize and put it into words what's going on, we got that. That's easy. So it takes a village to raise our youth, right? And like I said, we're not trying to replace the parents. We're not. We're trying to do our part, and we're trying to get other people that are key players within the Fresno area to listen to what it is that we have to say. So then now we can implement and do the necessary things that are needed in our communities, in our village. Because it takes all of us to do our part to make it better. With that being said, to all the youth out there, we have to meet at a common ground. There's some work on your part that needs to be done just as well, right? But we get it. Sometimes in a track meet, right? Say you run a 400. The lanes, I should say, are staggered, right? Because it's an oval. If everyone were to start in the same position, lined up across from one another, running around an oval, the race would be unfair. In life, this thing called life is like a race. Whether you believe it or not, there are some things that have been left off the plate for some. So all we want to do is do our due diligence to implement some of those things and give these resources to some of these young men and women that didn't necessarily have those things. And these young women, young men, in my personal humbled opinion, are born into survival mode. So a lot of the times they're looked at from a different lens. I once saw something the other day. A young man put, "The things I've survived would kill you." That's powerful. Our youth are dealing with those types of issues, right? And at the end of the day, if we are able to bring our youth together, all of them, in a sense, from different walks of life, they can learn from each other. And with that, we will be able to raise our youth in a great community and be the community leaders that are needed to raise them. Because they will come back and they will be those leaders. So it takes a village, man. The T.R.O.Y Center, truly reviving our youth. We are here to do our part. Once again, who's going to join us? We're ready and willing. TCC24. It takes a village to make it happen. Let's go. Peace.